Hey guys, it's Karen. So if you've watched some of my other vlogs, you may have noticed that I'm not always traveling with people. A lot of times I am traveling solo. I actually really enjoy traveling alone, but I know if it's your first time traveling solo, it can be pretty intimidating. So today I wanted to share 10 tips of how to stay safe while traveling alone, especially as a female. But of course, these tips are great for anyone who is traveling alone. Number 1 is look confident. Of course, it's great to be confident too, but especially look confident. If you look worried or scared or obviously look like a tourist, people are going to think you're an easy target. The vast majority of people you'll meet when traveling are actually really good and nice and helpful people, but there are always a few people out there who are not as nice. So just in case, you don't want to be an easy target for those not very nice people. So even if you are lost or you're in trouble, stay calm, assertive, and attentive at all times. Remember that you'll figure out a solution even if it takes a little bit more time or effort. Number 2 is to take a note from the locals. Think, act, dress like a local, or at least as much as you can. Sticking out basically tells everyone that you're a tourist, and sometimes it's really hard to avoid looking like a tourist, but at least try to look like a tourist who's trying to fit in, you know what I mean? The easiest of the 3 is, of course, dressing like a local, and it's great for multiple reasons. The outfit will probably be weather appropriate. Something I like to do is to look at Instagram and figure out what people are wearing in that location so that I know what to pack. And also B, people are going to have different ideas of not just fashion and style, but also modesty. For example, in some places, maybe showing cleavage is really, really bad, but showing a lot of leg is okay. So do your research beforehand so you don't risk offending the locals. This is not like, oh, you need to dress blah, 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 blah. But if you're traveling to a different location, you are a foreigner, you are a guest, and you don't want to just go in and offend people. So I do think it is nice to be sort of sensitive to that situation, or at least be aware of it so that you don't know why you're getting a certain response to your outfit if that's not what you're going for. You know what I mean? Number 3 is to plan your arrival. I like to arrive during the daytime so that I have ample time to make sure I can get out of the airport and get to my accommodations for the night before nightfall, so that way I can see my surroundings, get familiar with the area I'm staying in, so that when it does get dark, it will be easier to recognize things. And I can also pick up any emergency supplies or things I forgot before any of the stores close. Also, just arriving during the dark, not being able to see very well, trying to find my accommodations at night in the dark, and carrying luggage around sounds like just not a situation I want to be in. Number 4, be careful what you say to strangers. Of course, you should talk to people, meet locals and stuff like that, fellow travelers. It's a great way to get information and get to know the area and everything like that, but I do think you should refrain from oversharing. Things that you shouldn't be telling them are accommodations. Don't tell them your specific address or room number. Also, don't tell people how long you're alone for. If you just go, yeah, I'm alone for 10 days, going off the grid and everything like that, if that person's not a good person, all they can hear from that is, no one is expecting to hear from me for 10 days. So instead, if you just met this person, don't feel bad about lying to them. You can tell them, yeah, I'm alone right now, but I'm meeting up with a friend for dinner. Even if that is a lie, at least then they know that you aren't alone and someone is expecting to hear from you. And I do know some women will actually carry a ring with them. So if they do get into a situation, they can put on a wedding ring and say, hey, my husband is around here and he's probably looking for me right now. And that might get some undesired attention away from you. Unfortunately, that's just a thing that happens, and it's very effective to do that. So if you do need to do that, don't feel bad about doing it. Number 5, don't get wasted. I hope that this is really self-explanatory, and I really hope that is common sense, but just in case, I'm telling you right now, don't get wasted by yourself. It's just not safe. If you're in a group of new friends, or if you're in a city where your friend lives or your friend is visiting, then great. Go ahead and do what you want to do. But if you're alone, just don't risk it. Getting drunk in a foreign city by yourself is just not a good idea. Number 6 is be aware of your surroundings. Try your best to not walk around looking at your GPS or at a map, looking lost. That, again, just makes you look like an easy target. If you do get lost, pick carefully of who you ask for directions. I like asking people who work at train stations or bus stations because obviously they know the area really well and the public transit really well. In addition, anything that you wouldn't do in the city, don't do in a foreign city. So things like walking around at night, talking on the phone, or with your earbuds in. Just stay alert of your surroundings. If you look like you know where you're going, you have places to be, people are less likely to bother you. Number 7 is to stay on busier streets. Look for streets that are bigger, are well lit, and have more foot traffic when you're walking around at night. Walking around at night is great to see the nightlife, the scenery, and everything like that, but you don't want to be walking around in a dark alley and stuff like that. So even if that means a little detour or a longer walk home, I suggest you to do it because I don't think the shortcut of walking down this sketchy dark alley is worth it. Number 8, while you're at it, pay a little bit extra to stay in a busier part of town. I know when you're traveling on a budget, it's really tempting to just find the cheapest hostel, but a lot of times that also means places that are on the edge of town, in quieter places or not as nice places. So pick an area that has a little bit more foot traffic at night so that you know that when you're walking back to your accommodations, there's going to be other people walking as well, so you're not alone. It's also nice if they have things like a 24-hour front desk or a security system so that you know that people going in and out are only people who are actually staying there. Number 9 is to do your research. Before you arrive at your destination, I recommend researching the culture and customs of the people who live there. In general, this is just something good to be educated about, but it's also very helpful when you're interacting with locals. For example, in some places, direct eye contact is seen as an invitation. You wouldn't know that unless you did your research beforehand. Number 10 is to check in with friends and family regularly. Let them know how long you're away for and when to expect to hear from you. Let them know how long you'll be away for and the best way to contact you, and also when they should expect to hear from you. If you tell them that you'll call when you arrive at the hotel at 3 p.m., then they know that if they don't hear from you within a couple hours of that, they should figure out what's going on and try to get a hold of you. That being said, if you say you'll call, you should call, because otherwise they will probably get really angry at you. You can also register with your local embassy. Most of the time, this is a free service for citizens, and also they can let you know about the safety conditions of that area and also contact you in the case of emergencies. Another thing is if you're a big social media person and you post very frequently, then your friends will know if you don't post for a while. They can sort of check in on you and see if you are okay. Overall, be smart and don't do anything that puts you in dangerous situations. If someone is giving you a bad vibe or you don't feel comfortable, remove yourself from that situation. Say no and go away to somewhere else. I want to show you that traveling alone can be very safe and is often very rewarding, but I want to share these tips so that you can be aware and do your best to protect yourself and your belongings. Speaking of protecting your belongings, I created these bags right here with my sister for Arden Cove. They are anti-theft and waterproof, the ideal travel bag in my opinion. If you want to check them out, see all the neat features that they have, we are running an INDIEGOGO campaign. Check out the link in the description bar. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you have any other questions or comments, advice on how to stay safe while solo traveling, leave them in a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.